Think about your breakfast. Maybe a bowl of sweetened cereal, a flavored yogurt, or toast. Now think about your lunch, a ready-made sandwich or a bag of chips. These foods feel normal and taste good. But imagine eating something toxic every single day, yet it is disguised as your favorite comforting snack. This chapter introduces an invisible and dangerous revolution happening right on your plate. We will explore a serious issue. Nearly 60% of the calories that adults eat in wealthy countries come from a specific category of food. This type of food is quietly causing many modern health problems. These include being overweight, having heart issues, type 2 diabetes, and even some cancers. Scientists are only just beginning to fully understand this food and its widespread effects. It is a big change that we often do not see in our daily lives. You might be asking, what exactly is this unnamed category of food that scientists are only just beginning to understand? Why is it so harmful, even when many products claim to be healthy or natural? This book will provide a clear and full roadmap to answer these important questions. We will go on a journey to uncover the science behind this food. We will reveal the billion-dollar industry secrets that keep these products on our supermarket shelves. You will learn about the hidden, invisible ingredients that are in your daily diet, sometimes without you even knowing they are there. Throughout this book, you will discover what this food actually is in Chapter 2. Then, in Chapter 3, we will see how it took over the world. Chapter 4 will show what it does to your body, and Chapter 5 will explore the war happening inside your gut. We will also explore in Chapter 6 how this food affects children and poor families most. Chapter 7 will look at the big food companies and the governments that should protect us. Finally, in Chapter 8, we will share simple ways you can eat better and protect yourself and your family. Once you discover the true origin of your morning cereal and your lunchtime sandwich, you will never look at your pantry the same way again. Get ready to understand what you are truly eating and change your view of food forever. 2. What is this food? Why is a homemade loaf of bread perfectly fine for your body, but a packaged store-bought loaf a potential health hazard? This question helps us understand a big difference in food today. Almost everything we eat has been processed in some way. For thousands of years, people have processed food, like baking bread, fermenting yogurt, or making cheese. This simple processing changes food from its natural state. But there is a new way of processing food that is very different, and it is quietly changing our health. To understand this, scientists created a clear way to group foods called the NOVA classification system. This system looks at how much food has been processed, by whom, and for what reason. It has 4 main groups. Group 1 is for unprocessed or minimally processed foods. Think of fresh fruits, raw vegetables, plain milk, eggs, or simple dried beans. These foods are very close to how they are found in nature. Group 2 covers processed culinary ingredients, like oils, butter, sugar, or salt. These are items we use in cooking but usually don't eat alone. Group 3 consists of genuinely processed foods. These combine items from groups 1 and 2 in simple ways. Examples include canned fish, cheese, cured meats, or even a freshly baked simple loaf of bread. They might have salt or sugar to preserve them, but their ingredients list is easy to understand. Then there is Group 4, ultra-processed foods. These are not just simple recipes made with many ingredients. They are like products built in a factory. A Brazilian scientist named Carlos Monteiro helped create this system in 2009. He is an epidemiologist from the University of São Paulo. In his country, Brazil, he noticed a perplexing problem. People were eating enough calories each day, but their health was still getting worse. Their diets were changing from traditional foods like rice, beans, and fresh fruit to packaged factory-made items. He realized that the way food was processed was extremely important, not just the nutrients it contained.
You can often spot ultra-processed food by looking closely at its ingredients list. If you see names that sound like they belong in a science lab rather than a kitchen pantry, it is likely ultra-processed. Things like polysorbate 80 and carboxymethylcellulose are strange, synthetic chemicals. They are added to these foods for specific reasons, to make them last longer, look more appealing, feel a certain way in your mouth, or taste more exciting. These are not real nutrition. They act more like laboratory experiments. Common examples are carbonated drinks, packaged cookies, flavored chips, and many frozen meals. These foods are not cooked in the traditional way. They are manufactured. They are assembled from chemically or physically modified parts, designed from the beginning to maximize shelf life, minimize cost, make them very tasty, and encourage people to eat more and more. But how did these strange synthetic chemicals escape the science lab and end up inside our kitchen cabinets in the first place? How it took over the world. We now journey back in time to the 20th century to understand how these foods became so common. It wasn't by accident. After the Second World War, new technology and advanced food chemistry changed how we eat forever. Scientists learned to take food apart into basic things like fats, proteins, and sugars. Then they put them back together in new ways. This allowed foods to last longer on shelves, much like canned goods already did. In the middle of the century, after the war, more people had refrigerators and better ways to move food. People also had more money to spend. These things helped create a new kind of food economy. In the 1960s and 1970s, many new chemicals were added to food. Special scientists, called flavor chemists, learned to create compounds that tasted like strawberry, vanilla, or roasted meat, without needing any actual strawberries or meat. Other chemicals, called emulsifiers, made watery mixes feel smooth and creamy, like dairy. Stabilizers could keep a sauce from separating for 2 years on a shelf. Colors made dull, starchy foods look bright and appealing. A few large global corporations saw a huge chance to make money. They engineered foods specifically to last for years on warehouse shelves. These products cost only pennies to manufacture. The idea was simple and powerful. If you could create a product that was cheaper than whole food, lasted longer, tasted better than anything you could make at home, and needed no preparation, you had a business with amazing potential. This new kind of food was also designed to make people want to eat it again and again. This industry grew huge, now earning $1.9 trillion every year. It is the most profitable part of the food business. Big companies like Nestle, PepsiCo, Unilever, and Coca-Cola came to dominate this market. They spent huge amounts of money on research to make foods super tasty. They marketed these products to children and adults, making sure they were available everywhere. These ultra-processed foods were also much cheaper than fresh, whole foods. For example, 100 calories of ultra-processed food cost about 55 cents, while natural food cost around $1.45. This big price difference means fresh, whole foods are at a severe disadvantage. For many families with little money, buying ultra-processed food felt less like a choice and more like something they had to do. These corporations did not just want to make cheap food, they wanted to fundamentally control what you crave. Next, we will explore exactly how they hijacked human biology and changed your brain's cravings. What it does to your body. Many of the foods we eat every day are quietly causing serious harm to our health. Scientists now agree that diets with a lot of ultra-processed foods are linked to many chronic health problems. These include a higher chance of early death, heart disease, and a type of diabetes. It can also lead to certain cancers, like colorectal cancer. Think about a small cereal bar you buy in a package. It might have 100 calories. Now think about 100 calories of plain, natural oats. Even if they have the same calories, they affect your body in very different ways. The way ultra-processed foods are made, not just what is inside them, makes them harmful. For example, the industrial process itself breaks down food structures. This means your body works less to digest it, causing sugar and fat to enter your blood very quickly. This quick entry can strain your body's systems much more than whole, natural oats would. Recent large studies show worrying links. Eating many ultra-processed foods can raise your risk of dying from heart problems by 50%. It can also increase your chance of feeling anxious by almost 50%. Other studies strongly suggest higher risks for obesity, sleeping problems, and type 2 diabetes. The risk of dying early from any cause can go up by 21%, and depression risk by 20%. These are big numbers, showing that this food affects millions of people across different countries. Ultra-processed meats, such as hot dogs or chicken nuggets, are also a big concern. The World Health Organization, WHO, has said these meats can cause colorectal cancer. They put them in the same group as tobacco and asbestos, which is a very serious comparison. Eating a lot of these foods can increase the risk of this cancer by nearly 30% in men. The bad effects are not just physical. These foods also connect to severe mental health problems. Eating more ultra-processed foods is linked to more anxiety and depression around the world. Scientists are just beginning to understand how your gut health affects your brain. The way these foods change your gut can make you feel worse mentally.
This is a surprising but growing area of research. Every small increase in eating ultra-processed food can add to the risk. For example, eating just 100 more grams of ultra-processed food each day can increase your risk of high blood pressure, heart issues, and problems with your digestive system. The true danger of ultra-processed foods is not just the obvious added sugar or sodium. It is a hidden biological destruction happening deep inside your digestive system. Scientists are only just beginning to map out exactly how this internal damage happens. This goes beyond simple calories or fats. The complex ways these industrial foods interact with our bodies, affecting everything from our gut bacteria to how our blood sugar behaves, is a profound discovery. This hidden biological destruction is the real, deeper threat to our health. The war inside your gut. Inside your stomach and intestines, there is a whole hidden world. It is called your gut microbiome. This world has trillions of tiny living things like bacteria. These small helpers are very important for digesting food, keeping your body strong, and even affecting your brain. They are like a second organ working hard for you. But ultra-processed foods are causing big problems in this tiny world. These foods often have special chemicals called emulsifiers and artificial stabilizers. These chemicals hurt the good bacteria in your gut. They make the helpful bacteria disappear and allow bad ones to grow.
This can cause problems like swelling inside your body and may lead to sickness. Also, ultra-processed foods are changed a lot before you eat them. This is called the pre-digestion effect. Factories break down the food structures so much that your body does not have to work hard to digest it. This means sugar and fat get into your blood very quickly. This causes a sudden rise in blood sugar, which can lead to your body storing fat fast. When your blood sugar then drops quickly, you feel hungry again sooner than you should. Have you ever opened a bag of chips and found it impossible to stop eating them? This is not an accident. Food makers use a special trick called the bliss point. This is a very precise mix of sugar, salt, fat, and texture. It is made to make the food taste so good that your brain gets a strong feeling of reward. This makes you want to eat more and more, even if you are not truly hungry. This is how these foods become so addictive. Moreover, these foods often lack important things your gut bacteria need, like fiber. Without enough fiber, the beneficial bacteria in your gut do not have enough to eat and they can starve. This makes your gut less healthy over time. In short, these foods are not just bad because of the sugar or salt. They are designed to mess with your body's natural systems. They hurt your gut, make your blood sugar go wild, and trick your brain into wanting more.
With our biology successfully hijacked, who is suffering the most devastating consequences of this dietary takeover? Children and poor families. Children are eating more and more ultra-processed foods. For American children, almost 70% of their daily calories come from these types of foods. This is a very high amount. When young people eat so much ultra-processed food, it can change their growing brains and hormones. It can also change what tastes good to them. They might prefer very strong, artificial flavors over natural food. This can make it hard for them to enjoy plain fruits or vegetables later. The problem is worse for poor families and communities. Inequality in food access is a big issue. Cheap, ultra-processed foods are often sold very strongly to families with less money. These foods are much cheaper than fresh, healthy options. For example, 100 calories of ultra-processed food can cost only 55 cents. But 100 calories of unprocessed food, like fresh fruit or vegetables, can cost more than double that, at $1.45. Many low-income areas are called food deserts. This means there are not many places to buy fresh produce or healthy groceries. Often, the only stores available sell mostly packaged ultra-processed items. Telling people in these areas to just eat fresh vegetables is not helpful advice. It ignores the real barriers they face, like high prices and a lack of access. Time is also a big problem for many families. Cooking healthy meals from scratch takes time. When parents work long hours or multiple jobs, they often choose quick, easy, and cheap meals. These are usually ultra-processed options.
These foods last a long time on shelves and are simple to prepare, making them seem like the best choice for busy families. The marketing of ultra-processed foods also targets these communities. Companies specifically design advertisements to reach low-income groups. This makes the disadvantage even greater. It traps families in a cycle where they eat unhealthy foods because they are the easiest and cheapest option. This then leads to more health problems. Scientists are very worried about these trends. The consequences for young people's health are serious and long-lasting. Their bodies and brains are still growing, so the harm from these foods can be much greater. It can lead to health issues like obesity and type 2 diabetes at a younger age. This situation makes us wonder why our governments are not doing more. If the harm to our children and poor families is so clear, why aren't they stopping the big food companies that make these products? The conglomerates seem to have a lot of power. The big food companies. Big food companies are like big tobacco companies from the past. Both sold products that hurt people's health. They used similar plans to protect their money and power.
These plans included confusing people and funding science that supported their products. They also tried to stop governments from making rules to protect public health. Companies like Nestle, PepsiCo, Unilever, and Coca-Cola are some of these multinational food corporations. They spend a lot of money to influence politicians. They also tried to stop new regulations that would make their products safer or limit sales. These companies often use deceptive marketing. They want people to think their foods are good for them, even when they are not. They also pay for studies that say their products are harmless. This creates doubt about real science. They want people to believe that eating healthy is only an individual choice, not a problem with the food system. This helps them avoid responsibility. But there is hope. Some places are starting to fight back. In Brazil, they added the Nova food system to their national food rules in 2014. This system helps people know what ultra-processed food is. Chile started using special warning labels on foods in 2016. These are black stop signs on packages that have too much sugar, salt, fat, or calories. Chile also stopped ads for these foods that were aimed at children. In the United States, California made a new law in 2025. This law stops schools from serving unhealthy ultra-processed foods to children. This will affect over 1 billion meals each year. The World Health Organization, the WHO, and the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, now use the NOVA system too. This shows a growing consensus around the world that ultra-processed foods are a problem. However, the food industry still uses lobbying and other methods to stop these changes. The global fight against big food companies is growing. But what can you do today to keep yourself and your family safe? 8. How to eat better. This chapter gives practical ways to eat better in your daily life. You do not need to eat perfectly all the time. Instead, you can slowly recalibrate your plate. Try to eat more whole, natural foods bit by bit. This is not about cutting out everything you enjoy, but about making small, regular changes. These small steps can lead to big improvements over time. One easy way to start is to look at food labels when you are at the supermarket. You can learn to spot ultra-processed markers. If an ingredient list has words that are hard to read or sound like chemicals, it is likely an ultra-processed food.
For example, look for ingredients you would not find in your own kitchen, such as polysorbate 80 or high fructose corn syrup. It can be difficult to decipher these names, but just seeing many of them is a good sign. This helps you make smarter choices about what you buy. Cooking at home is your best defense against many of these foods. You do not need to be a great chef. Simple, even imperfect home cooking helps a lot.
When you cook your own meals, you choose the ingredients. This naturally means you eat fewer ultra-processed items. For example, a simple meal of pasta with fresh vegetables and a homemade sauce is much better than a ready-made frozen meal. Home cooking is not inherently better, but it helps you avoid unknown ingredients. Even making small parts of your meal from scratch can help. Remember, food is more than just energy for your body. It is also about culture, comfort, and human connection. Sharing a meal with family or friends is important. We should enjoy food that nourishes our bodies and our souls. While individual choices matter, we also need bigger changes. Governments and food companies should make it easier for everyone to access healthy, affordable, and less processed food. This means better food labeling and limits on how these foods are marketed, especially to children. This journey has shown how processed foods have changed our world. Now think about your own plate. What is one ultra-processed food you eat every day? Could you try to replace it with a whole natural food? Even small changes can have a big cumulative effect over time. Changing what we eat is a fight for a healthier future for all of us.
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.